Good morning and welcome to Vic and Vern Sports Chat. My name is Vic and welcome to the Daily Sports Update Show. Every morning at 7 o'clock Central European Time, 365 days a year. There we go. What are we talking about? We're going to talk football this morning, of course, on this beautiful 26th of March. Then we'll talk NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball, rugby, NCAA. We even got skiing, darts. We've got it all this morning. Good morning, Ronnie, Tracy. Hill from Hobart. We got Noah. Yeah, we got a lot of people in there this morning. Hunty, Ranesh, Heinrich, Otten, Pele. Yeah, good stuff this morning. So we're going to get into that. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification button. And if you want to get a hold of me, that's the email. But we'll start with a little bit of football this morning. It was the Women's Champions League quarterfinals. Barcelona thrashed Real Madrid 6-2 in the Women's El Clasico. They even have an El Clasico in the Champions League. There you go now, Barcelona. Just a number too good there. So looking good. Morning, Manus. Bayern Munich ladies beat Manchester United there 3-2. A late goal there in the 84th minute there for Bayern to give them the 3-2 lead. But all to play for there. Second leg will be in Munich. Let's see what happens there. That'll be next week. Then don't forget, World Cup qualifying. That's all coming up tonight. Bolivia take on Suriname. New Caledonia take on Jamaica. There we go. And then in Europe, there's a lot of games in Europe. I'll be watching some of those this evening with one eye. Turkey, Romania, Czech Republic against Ireland. Those are just one-off games. Denmark, Macedonia, Italy, Northern Ireland. Poland, Albania, Slovakia, Kosovo, Ukraine, Sweden, and Wales against Bosnia. So, you got to win this game, and then you still got to win another game to get to the World Cup. So let's see who gets to that World Cup. EuroLeague last night, one game there. Baskonia at the bottom, losing to Red Star Belgrade. So the 33rd round is done, except for Bologna Paris. They'll play on the 31st of March. Let's have a look at the top of the table. It kind of looks like we've got our playoff teams now. 5 games to go. The lead of Barcelona over 11th place Dubai is 2 games, so it is looking good. But you look there from Zalgiris all the way down to Barcelona, all on 19 and 14. So, going to be interesting to see what happens in round 34, which is going to be on our channel, round 34. We'll have some games tomorrow night. You got Milano, Bologna, but let's see which are the real interesting ones there. Fenerbahce, Zalgiris, Panathinaikos, Monaco, Barcelona, Red Star, and I think it's going to be a tough game for Valencia. Their Partizan on a 3-game winning streak. We'll stay with basketball. We'll just move over the pond there. We'll move over the Atlantic and we'll get into the NBA. Lots of games last night in the NBA. With 12 games there, so let's start us off there. The Hawks beat the Pistons 130-129 in a really tight game there. Good stuff there from the Hawks, but a disappointing loss for the Pistons maybe. The Lakers took care of the Pacers 137-130. Luka Doncic with 43.6 rebounds and 7 assists. The Bulls got... Where was the defense in this one? The Bulls lost 137-157 to the 76ers. Giddy had 23 points, 9 rebounds, and 12 assists for the Bulls. Joel Embiid, the mailman, he is the main man, not the mailman. Jeez, he wishes he was the mailman. He had 35.6 rebounds and 7 assists on his return to the 76ers. Good result there for the Celtics. Celtics beating the Thunder 119-109. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with 33 points and 8 rebounds for a losing Thunders team. Jaylen Brown, the main man there for the Celtics, 31 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists. The Heat beat the Cavaliers. Yes, baby, my Heat beat the Cavaliers 120-103. Big scorer there was Donovan Mitchell for the Cavs with 28. The Heat, everybody chopped in there with the Heat. A lot of players in double figures there. Then the Spurs beating the Grizzlies 123-98. Wembanyama with 19 points, 15 rebounds, and 3 steals. Quickly. Then we're going to move on to the second part of that. There you go. It's because there were so many games. Let me have a look. I haven't seen it yet. I'll have a look at it afterwards. I will mention it on Friday. Then the Wizards. The Wizards did a number on the Jazz. 133, 110 there. Good stuff from the Wizards. The Rockets lose again. They lost 108, 110 to the Timberwolves. Even though Segun had 30.6 rebounds and 4 blocks. Rudy Gobert also impressive, 14 points, 14 rebounds and 5 blocks. So a lot of block shots in that one. The Nuggets took care of the Mavericks, 142 to 135. Jamal Murray there with 53 points and 6 rebounds. Cooper flag for a losing Mavericks team, 26 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. I just want to tell you what Nikola Jokic did. I think he almost had a 20-20-20 game. Just waiting for the page to load. Everything's a little bit slow this morning. There we go. Let's have a look at Luka's numbers. Luka had 23 points, 21 rebounds, 19 assists. Unfreaking believable. And people tell me the man's not in the hunt for the MVP. You must be on drugs, man. You must be on drugs if you don't believe that. While the page is loading, I'm going to take a sip of tea. So, then the Nets, they lost to the Warriors, 106-109. Santos with 31 points there for the Warriors. The Trailblazers smashed the Bucks, 130-99. And the Raptors couldn't get past the Clippers. They lost 94-119. Darius Garland there with 24 points for the Clippers. Booyah! Let's get rid of that. There you go. I'm already in the darts mode there, you know. Gervin Price. Booyah! Then let's have a look at the East standings at the moment. That's that in the East. Boston still 4 points behind the Pistons. Pistons are the only team to guarantee a playoff spot at the moment. And the Wizards, the Nets, and the Pacers are out of it already. Look, it's hotting up there. I mean, look, if you take it from Atlanta in 5th all the way down to Orlando, has a lot to play for because you'd like to be in the top 6, not have to play an extra round. That is going to be an interesting to watch. I think that the top 4 will stay the top 4, but then from Atlanta all the way to Orlando, going to be very interesting to see who the shuffling there. Then in the West, it's done. We know which teams are not making the playoffs. Those 5 at the bottom, definitely not. So we know that everybody from 1 to 10 is in the playoffs or in the play-ins, whatever you want to call it. Let's have a look at how that shapes up. Look, the Thunder, everybody, the whole year, I'm hearing the Thunder, this greatest team in the US. They're only 2 games ahead of the Spurs. Don't count out the Spurs. And don't forget, the Spurs have beaten the Thunder 3 times this year. The Lakers in 3rd, Nuggets, Timberwolves, I think those, maybe the Rockets, those 4 will still change places. Looks like the Warriors will definitely be in the play-ins. They won't get up into 6th spot. Neither will the Trailblazers or the Clippers. Maybe the Phoenix Suns, but it looks like we know what's going to happen in the Western Conference. Then we move over to the ice. Yeah, baby, ice. Kiss the egg. There you go. The Bruins beat the Sabres 4-3, and the Rangers lost the Maple Leafs 3-4. So, yeah, only 2 games there. Let's have a look at the standings. We'll go out into the Eastern Conference. That is your playoff standings at the moment. The top 3 of the Atlantic and the Metropolitan are in at the moment. No one's guaranteed a spot there in the East, but Boston and the Senators have got the 2 wildcard spots. But let's be honest, all the way down to the Capitals, everything's still possible. At least the Spurs basketball team is doing great. The other Spurs is getting relegated. Looks like it. It does look like it. Yes, it does look like it, yeah. There you go. Then in the Western Conference, look, we have 2 teams qualified, and that is the Colorado Avalanche and the Dallas Stars. In the wildcard spots at the moment, as is the Mammoth and the Predators, but that's also still a very tight league there. Winnipeg Kraken and the Kings still have chances, I believe. Major League Baseball, baby. Good stuff, got to tell you about. Last night, the Yankees thrashed the Giants 7-0. That was the last game of the preseason, or as they call it in the Major League Baseball, spring training. So have a look at the Grapefruit League. That was your standings for the spring training. So the Braves won the Grapefruit League there. And in the Cactus League, the Dodgers took that title in the Cactus League. But tonight is opening night in the Major League Baseball. Yes, the season starts tonight, opening night. And some good games. The Pirates will take on the Mets. The White Sox will take on the Brewers. The Cubbies will take on the Nationals. The Twins will face off against the Orioles. Then the Red Sox. The Red Sox are going to take the Reds. So that's a red game there. The Angels and the Astros face off. The Tigers and the Padres. The Texas Rangers will take on the Philadelphia Phillies. The Tampa Bay Rays and the Cardinals will do battle. The Diamondbacks will take on the defending champion Dodgers. Yamamoto to start there for the Dodgers. And the Mariners and the Guardians will face off. So that is your opening night in baseball. Big games coming up in the NCAA. Those games coming up tonight. Texas, Purdue, Iowa, Nebraska, Arkansas, Arizona, Illinois against Houston. Then tomorrow, or the Saturday, St. John's, Duke, Alabama, Michigan, Michigan State, UConn, and Tennessee against Iowa. I'm going to try to do one or two of those games. Do a little bit less rugby and do one or two of those games. Same thing with the ladies. We're into the Sweet 16. Notre Dame, Vanderbilt will do battle. North Carolina against UConn. That should be a good one. Minnesota, UCLA, and Duke against LSU. Lots of good games. I'm going to try to do some of the ladies' games as well. Louisville take on Michigan, Kentucky, Texas, Oklahoma Sooners against South Carolina Gamecocks, and Virginia against the Texas Christian University. There you go. So lots of good sports in the US of A. Don't forget, this evening it is at 11 o'clock Central European time across the pond. We'll get into the North American sports in depth. Then check out our video that came out yesterday, Springboks Mega Squad. We broke it down to see who's going to make it on the plane. It's the plane, boss. It's the plane. Yeah, everybody wants to be on the plane to Australia there next year. I broke it down from around about 80 players that we had to choose from down to 35. So check that video out. Cool video to do. I enjoyed it. Check that out. Don't forget, tonight it is darts. It is the 8th night. That's starting at 7 o'clock Central European time this evening, 1900, an hour earlier, because it is in Berlin. So the night 8 of the darts in Berlin this evening. Let's have a look at the schedule there. Johnny be good. Well, Johnny Clayton will take on Josh Rock. Luke Humphreys will take on Michael Van Gerven. Luke Little will face off against Stephen Bunting. Stephen Bunting won this one last year there in Berlin. And Gervin Price will take on Jan Van Veen. Hopefully he's feeling better after his sickness. So yeah, we'll see. So it looks like Price and Littler again in that same half. We'll see what happens tonight. Join me for that. 1900 Central European time. Then the skiing season is over. The World Cups are done. I thought I'd just show you who won the overall World Cup. Hop Schweiz, there you go. Marco Odermatt won the overall World Cup. I think it's for the 5th time in a row. 600 points ahead of Lucas Pereira Brathen of Brazil, followed by Atle McGrath of Norway, Luke Meyer of Switzerland. Some more Norwegians, more Swiss. The best Austrian came in 8th. Austria, what is wrong with you people? The best Austrian came in 8th. That was on the men's side, so Marco Odermatt does it again. On the women's side, well, Michaela Schifrin does it again. But it got close this year. Old Emma Eicher there of Germany and Camille Russ, put a little bit of pressure on her this year. But congratulations to Michaela Schifrin. She's doing really well. She won the overall World Cup of the ladies. She did also win the Slalom World Cup, so she won 2 of those crystal balls. Marco Odermatt, he won 1, 2, 3 crystal balls. He won the super giant slalom and the downhill as well as the overall. And in the country nations, well, that's why I'm bringing it up, of course. Switzerland, 5th year in a row, we've won the Nations Cup ahead of Austria, Italy, and the United States. All I got to say is Hop Schwitz, we're just too good for you boys, man. We are too good for you boys. So that is the sports for this morning. Don't forget, lots of rugby coming up this weekend. We got URC. Tomorrow morning, join me for Super Rugby, 2 games there tomorrow. That should be a lot of fun. So we've got Super Rugby, we've got URC this weekend. We've got NCAA basketball this weekend. Lots to talk about. Lots to see on the channel. So remember to like, subscribe, hit the notification button. With the notification button, you automatically get onto all our shows. There you go. Guys, that's me for this beautiful Thursday morning. Snowing outside, or it was snowing outside. All the hills are white around here. So let's have a look how the streets are when I walk outside afterwards. I wish you all a wonderful day. And as I always say, be safe, guys. Ciao, ciao.